We are back for another case study. This is David Lesnick. David, first of all, thank you so much for taking some time out from your day and sharing this case study with us. Let's just dive into it. David, what do you do?
I am a financial advisor. I've been in the business for 30 years. I specialize basically in retirement planning, things like 401ks and IRAs, things like that, and also estate planning trust for my clients.
Thank you. And just let's go back in time. Let's go back in time just before you hired the VA. What led to the decision to hire a virtual assistant?
Actually, I'd been needing an assistant for a long time and been putting it off because it's so expensive. And the idea of a virtual assistant hadn't really occurred to me. I had a physical assistant for years. And then through the circumstances of her life, I lost her. And trying to, in my industry, in the financial industry, we are so heavily regulated. And to try and find somebody that I could train and have with me all the time was a nightmare. And in addition to that, it was very expensive to do it.
So cost was one prohibiting factor. I can't remember exactly how we crossed paths or you crossed paths with us. So what made you decide to work through us or work with us in terms of hiring a VA?
A friend of mine from my BNI network, his memory blanks. Ashley, I'm blanking out on her last name, but we were sitting in a BNI group one morning and she was telling me about you and your organization and about the VA that she was working with. And I hooked me up, and she did. And so here I am. But I don't know, 6-8 months later?
Yeah, I think it's maybe even come up to a year now, David.
Is that? Okay, time flies in the hand.
Yeah. Okay, so when you were going through the hiring process, were you clear about what you wanted the VA to do, or a general idea? Can you just walk us through that part of your onboarding?
I went through your website and looked through all the different areas that your people had expertise in and picked out the ones I thought that would be most beneficial to me, the skill sets that were most beneficial to me. And evidently, because of my business, I need somebody who is very skilled and capable, where in some of my team, was one of the top things I needed. And definitely, right alongside that is computer skills, because mine are lacking severely. I say computer skills, not really so much internet and social media skills.
Understood. Great. So you hired the VA, or we went through our onboarding process. So what is it that the VA is doing for you day to day? So what are some of the typical tasks that the VA does for you?
I met Brett very well. I met you in person at one of Brett's meetings in Las Vegas. And so I was with the Cornerstone funnel. And that funnel had been giving me nightmares from day one. It's just, for whatever reason, never worked quite properly. So just migrated last week from Cornerstone, not once, but from to high level. And Ken is very conversant high level. She knows it very well. And so I had her migrate the entire Cornerstone funnel from ClickFunnels over to high level, which we're now working with high level. That was a huge task in itself. Week to week, she manages that for me for my weekly webinars, and also does a lot for me in Canva, which to me is a jigsaw puzzle. I have no idea how that works, but she does a lot for me in Canva in creating Facebook posts, creating ads, graphics and videos, things like that. She edits my videos. So that's a lot of the day-to-day stuff.
Thank you. Now, of course, sometimes working with a VA is a bit of a learning process. What are some of the challenges you experienced and had to overcome?
The biggest challenge is time difference. I don't want to wake her up too early in the morning. Yeah, and I don't want to be up in the middle of the night to talk to her. So the difference between Pacific time and Philippines is a little bit of a challenge, but we work through it. I either meet with her very early in the morning for me or very late in the evening for me, and it works out. We managed to work through it.
Got it. Very good. If you could give some word of advice to anyone reading this or watching this in terms of preparing or tips on how to work with their VA that would improve their experience, what are maybe a few things that come to mind?
To really write that down and get a clear idea of what they need from a VA, what that person is going to do for them, and without being overly optimistic about how quickly they can do things for you. They're very skilled and they can do things. Ken does things for me in a couple of hours that would take me a couple of weeks. So they need to know what they expect from a VA, what they can look forward to. And again, timeline may be an issue for anybody who's in the United States. It might be an issue, but I'd say establish ground rule, what you need that person to do. And if you find somebody like I have with Ken, who is very creative, a lot of times give her a hit and let her tell me things I need to do.
Great, thank you. If you could encapsulate your experience of working with us, working with your VA in kind of 1 or 2 sentences, like a soundbite, what would you say? How would you encapsulate the entire experience?
Oh, it's amazing. I would absolutely be lost without her. She does things for me, like I said, in a matter of hours that would take me days or weeks to do. And she's just become my right hand.
Awesome. David, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your background and what you're doing and how you're working with the VA and the impact the VA is having on your business. Truly appreciate you taking time out to share that with us. I wish you all the best. Yeah. And of course, if there's anything we can do for you, help you expand that on that, let us know.
And on that note, I was actually talking to Ken about it the other day. Told her I might need a second person. Not that she's not capable, but I have another area that I want to open up to. And I want Ken focused on what she's doing, and I want somebody, the second area, to be focused strictly on that and nothing else.
I'll end with this, and you bring up a very good point. Like in my team, I have 2 full-time VAs and about 4 part-time VAs. I believe we don't put our eggs in one basket. When we do that and that VA becomes sick or has to leave, it can take out a very big chunk of our operation mechanism as a business. I like to divide work up between VAs. So if a VA does fall sick or can't work or decides to not be a VA anymore, they're not taking down an entire aspect of our business. So to me, diversification is good. I mean, you might spend a little bit more money, but not really in the long term. I don't believe it's that consequential. Happy to help you anytime.
Oh yeah, the additional money, is really minor when you compare to the services that are getting for it and the critical aspect that it adds to your business.
Absolutely. And then again, because of our model, we don't have markup fees. So it really is a very economical way of building a remote team, at least from our perspective. So David, thank you so much again. And we'll be chatting to you real soon. Take care.
Bill, my pleasure. Thank you.
Great.